Coming up, BMX Park. Road Raging, Stadium Super Trucks. Starring Robbie Gordon. Progression, Skateboard Street. Featuring King of Street, Nigel Houston. Eyes on Gold, Ryan Sheckler. Insane Skills, Paul Rodriguez. Hosted by Louis Vito and Brandon Graham. Theme by Bryce Vine. Featuring Kanye West and Gary Clark Jr.
This is where the wild things are.
It's the fourth and final day here at Circuit of the Americas, where our new home debut has clearly lived up to the hype. The fans are here in full force, trying to stay cool, and also to see a number of event staples, as well as the launch of a brand new discipline, and it all starts right now. This is X Games Austin. What's up, everybody? Brandon Graham alongside the Olympian and X Games medalist Louis Vito. It is our fourth and final day. So hard to say goodbye, but we do have a stacked event schedule headlined by BMX Park. And Lou, it's fitting that we're starting off with BMX Park today because Austin, Texas is such a hotbed for the sport. I mean, think about the 9th Street Trails, for instance. How many cities give BMX riders their own portion of a park to build dirt jumps?
You know, that's great to see, and it's amazing how Austin's really embraced the BMX culture, and Jamie Bestwick felt it on night one, winning his 9th gold medal in front of 12,000 people in front of the Capitol building.
All at 42 years old, by the way, but the party continued last night where Colton Satterfield in BMX Big Air winning his first ever gold medal, that no-handed cork 720 over the gap. Are you kidding me? The crowd went nuts.
It was insane. They were almost not even going to do the contest because of the wind.
That's right, but one contest that is definitely going down, BMX Park. Ryan Nyquist, Daniel Dares, Kyle Baldock and the crew about to storm the course. Let's go to the booth where Jimmy Coleman and K-Rob have the call.
Thanks, Brandon. We have a 9,000 square foot concrete park for these guys to do battle on out here today. It's the final BMX event of the weekend out here at X Games Austin 2014. 12 riders in the lineup out here today. And in the past 18 years of BMX park events out here at the X Games, we've only had 7 gold medal winners. And in this lineup out here today, Kevin, we've got 5 of them that are returning. That's how stacked this field is.
We have a great lineup. Of course, you have to talk about Chase Hawk, our local Austin native, as well as Gary Young. They'll be utilizing this course the way it should be, but you cannot leave out our defending gold medalist, Daniel Dares.
So as you see there, 12 riders in the lineup. What we do here in round 1, each rider, they're going to get 2 runs apiece. It's your best run that counts. What we do, we cut the field in half. The top 6 move on into the final round. The runs are 50 seconds in length. The best possible run score you can get out here today is a score of 100. And we started off with an X Games rookie. This is Kevin Peraza.
Kevin Peraza up and over the trifecta. Kevin coming from a whole history of BMX in his family, from his dad and his brother.
Now, one thing to notice in this course here, it's different from what we've seen in years past. You don't have a spine element. You don't have a traditional box jump style element. You just, basically what's going to happen here, you have to learn how to flow through these corners to put together a solid run.
Exactly. You almost have to be an artist. You have to really pick out your different lines, maintain your speed, and you have to think about the next step every single time.
Look at Kevin Peraza working the corners. The corners are key in getting some speed as you work through this course.
Right there, perfect example. He landed low, he lost his speed, and that right there can throw off your whole plan.
The toothpick up on the extension there. Toothpick whenever you're stalling on an obstacle on one of your front pegs. And a fall there by Kevin Peraza right at the buzzer. Again, 2 runs. It's your best run that counts out here. As we wait for the scores here on Kevin Peraza, let's check in with the 3rd member of our team, Alyssa Roenick.
Thanks, Jimmy. You know, you guys have been talking so much about flow and how important that is to the judges. One way for you guys at home to judge flow is to watch how much they pedal between tricks. Judges don't want to see pedaling. If they're landing low, their landings aren't smooth, they have to pedal to pick up speed. That's going to knock them down with the judges. Remember, these are 50-second runs as opposed to 40 seconds last year. So the guys who are able to do that, utilize the whole course without repeating their lines, are really going to earn points with these judges.
Yeah, you know, and that's another thing. Last year we had the jam session style format. That's out the window this year. Last year with the jam session style format, you could kind of get into a flow. You had multiple runs. Here, you really just have 2 shots at it. Coming into the course right now, this guy is known for his style and flow in multiple disciplines. It's Dennis Anderson.
Dennis Anderson, one of my favorite riders. You always see a smile on his face, airing over the Longhorn. Huge transfer, massive. The only one you're seeing doing that transfer so far.
He did that 10-foot bowl section right there, and just with a big transfer out of the gap.
Into the extension. Blasting out of that corner. He's got good flow going right now, utilizing the whole course with a big pocket air. Pocket air is when you do an air and you turn in the corner with a flare, which you don't see come out of Dennis Anderson very often. With a foot jam to fakie.
That's about 10, maybe 11 feet from the top of the tech extension right there, and he has no brakes, by the way.
Foot jam to fakie. Goes up, shoves his foot in the front tire to stop his bike. Coming back in backwards and rolling out.
That's such a roll of the dice as you're coming down backwards.
Check this out right here. Look, jams his foot in, comes backwards into the back to the tech extension, pulls it clean.
75.33 is what we saw out of Kevin Peraza. So Anderson checks in with an 84 flat there, put him in top. But coming up next, we've got an Austin native. This is Chase Hawk.
Chase Hawk, I cannot believe.
So you can hear the roar of the crowd there. The Austin locals welcome in one of their own. Chase is another one of those guys that's got that style and flow. He's in for his first of 2 here. Look how fast he's going through the deep end corners.
Now you saw Dennis Anderson do that same line the other direction. With a huge alley-oop transfer, pumping around that bowl corner. Little 1-foot invert on the Longhorn.
That bowl section to the deep end is also a little bit shallower than what we've seen in years past. That thing's only 10 feet tall this year, but you can still see these guys are manipulating the corners pretty well. Using that, look at that transfer line over the gap.
Fantastic transfer, doing an alley-oop. It's kind of drift. Alley-oop is when you're kind of drifting backwards.
A solid run there for Chase Hawk. Again, as we move through this competition, we're in the opening run of 2 here in round 1. We cut the field in half, take the top 6 into the final. So he comes out of that alley-oop 270, just manipulates those corners to build speed. High mark to beat thus far, Dennis Anderson with that 84 flat. As we await the score here for Chase, what are some of the things the judges are going to be looking for out here today with this different style course than what we've seen in years past?
You know, I had a great discussion with the judges the other day. They're really looking for all of the riders to use all the different lines, to be creative, not just to go out and, you know, count on the banger tricks they can do, but really utilizing what this course is for.
And the crowd is definitely liking that. The Austin native in the top spot right now with an 87.66. The shot of Ryan Nyquist. He's one of those former Park Gold medalists we were talking about at the top of the show. He's got 2 of them. He got him consecutive years, 2002 and 2003. Had a rough go yesterday in the BMX dirt event. Did not make it out of round 1 into the final. On course right now. We saw him in the dirt final yesterday. Took a pretty nasty crash, but he's here in Park today. This is Pat Casey.
Pat Casey hitting that big transfer with a 1-footed invert, pumping around that deep end.
Pumping opposite through that corner there. The truck driver over the trifecta there. Truck driver's a 360 whenever you're spinning the handlebars.
You saw I just did a 360 landing backwards. The downside toothpick, that's when you bonk your bottom front peg on the coping.
Traveled a pretty good chunk of distance there. It's manipulated through that pocket air.
With a huge pocket air tail whip. That was amazing. That is such a difficult thing to do a pocket air like that while doing a tail whip. You have to pull out so hard.
Followed it up with the foot jam nose pick on the other wall there. A big finish to that run there. And I talked about that crash he took in dirt yesterday. He was the top qualifier, so he got to ride last going into the dirt final, and he went head first into the lip of the landing on the last set. It was nasty.
Check this out. Big pocket air, tail whip, landing smooth, maintaining his speed. You know, I talked to Pat in the athlete lounge this morning, and he's feeling pretty banged up and sore, but he's like, you know, once I'm out there, I just got to put it together.
I was going to say, despite the crash yesterday, that was a very solid run for him. He's got an 80.66 that'll slide him into the third place spot as of right now. So we're about a third of the way through the lineup here in run number 1 of 2. Coming up later on today, though, we've got Robbie Gordon and a brand new event here to the X Games Stadium Super Trucks. We'll be back with more BMX Park Round 1 when we come back.
X Games Austin is brought to you by The Real Cost. What are cigarettes costing you? Find out at therealcost.gov. A message paid for by the FDA. And Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further.
The way I try to make my riding style, I try to put like style into it and do tricks at the same time. X Games is sweet because I'd say it's one of the biggest contests of the year, and it's sweet that they changed the location. It's awesome to check out a different city, and Austin seems really cool. This is definitely a dangerous sport. We take risks every day. We're doing flips and all sorts of stuff that can get us hurt. My name is Pat Casey, and I'm a professional BMX rider.
So Pat Casey showing you some pocket airs there. Part of that video segment, he had a big pocket tail whip air, and we saw him prior to break. He's currently sitting in 3rd place right now with an 80.66. And sitting there with his wife Chase, who they're expecting a newborn later on this year, but he's sitting in 3rd as of right now. Coming up next, though, Ryan Nyquist, 16 X Games BMX medals. He's 2nd most all-time on the BMX list, sitting just behind Dave Mira, who happens to have 23. So it'll be a little while before anybody's challenging Dave Mira in the BMX ranks for that record. But, don't count Ryan out. He's got 2 gold medals in this event. Got him back in 2002 and 2003. He's always a park favorite.
Right there, starting off the big suicide no-hander, double bar spin.
Right there.
Ryan was a little flustered from yesterday's dirt competition, but he's no stranger to facing adversity, and he definitely can come back. For the truck driver,
I like that style when he whipped around the corner there. Just see how he manipulated his bike and body to get the max amount of speed. Did it again right there. I like the style when he does that.
transferring down into the deep end. Yeah, the big pocket air, no-hander.
Over the trifecta.
Little toothpick.
It looked like he got a little lost there, kind of the speed, kind of, what do I, oh, ice pick to 270 out the hard way there. That is a very, very technical lip trick at the end of the run by Ryan Nyquist.
So ice pick landing just on the back peg, balancing, then rotating 270 degrees out. Okay, check this out right here. There he is in the back peg, rotates out.
Yeah, you're rotating out, we say the hard way, you're rotating back out around the opposite direction there. So the top score right now, 87.66, that's Chase Hawk. It's the best of your two runs that'll hopefully get you into the final. Top six move on. And Ryan will slide into second place there with an 85.33. So great job there by Ryan Nyquist. We've got more riders still to come here in round number 1 of 2. But right now, let's take a look back at action last night from the GoPro BMX Big Air Final. Hello everyone and welcome to the GoPro BMX Big Air Final. Jimmy Coleman here sitting alongside Kevin Robinson. And Kevin, look at the size of this crowd out here. One of, if not the biggest crowds we've ever seen out here at a big air event here at the X Games. This is James Foster. He made his first big air appearance last year at the Munich event. Brought a brand new trick to the party with a triple downside tail whip and crashed, and it took him out of competition.
Right there, the backflip tail whip, slips his pedal really, puts his foot down. Puts it together and saves his run. James Foster on the Nitro Circus Tour, a big-time jumper. You can see the jump skills with this guy. He really knows how to push that jump.
We're waiting on the score here. Foster checks in with an 85 flat. You see the height there, 11 feet 4 inches. So that'll slide him into first place. We have 4 riders in the field out here tonight who took a medal in one of our 4 events last year. This gentleman here, one of them, Colton Satterfield, took a bronze in Barcelona last year.
With a 360 no-handed backflip, slipped his foot off, double it, pulling it clean. Colton, if it came down to a jump contest, Colton could win this hands down. He has more jump skill than just about anybody on that ramp.
Well, that's what I say. Progression is the name of the game when it comes to big air, and Colton's got a deep bag of tricks.
Spread the hands off, spotting his landing, over rotates a little bit, drags his foot. See, watch his back tire, over rotates a little bit.
I didn't see that at real-time speed. Slipped that one out a little bit, but that was a great save by Colton. Still was able to maintain enough speed to get out quarter pipe trick in.
Absolutely.
So James Foster, top guy now, with an 85 flat. And Colton will slide into second right now with an 84.
True Warrior, my Hoffman Bikes teammate, always up for a good surprise. The Superman backflip.
Into the quarter pipe. With a
double tailwhip, pulling it perfectly clean.
Did you see how slow the rotation was on that second rotation of that double tailwhip? And look at, it's got a Texas flag. That's not part of the shirt. That's safety pin to the back of the shirt.
Now watch the score that comes in for this one. This, in my opinion, put him up in first place. My prediction.
Once, twice, and it looks like it's almost going to stop.
Watch how smooth he lands.
Back tire.
Just about 6 feet under the quarter pipe.
Back tire with a feather touch landing. Look at that camera angle.
2, spots his pedals, puts his feet on, lands perfectly smooth.
So the high mark again, 85 flat. That's James Foster holding on to that as of right now as we await the score here from Morgan. You're saying that's enough to put him into first.
I'm betting my money on it. I'm betting my life on it.
Well, he came in here wanting one thing. He wanted that higher record. I said, you were the one that currently holds that. You set that back in 2008 in New York City. The record's 27 feet. Morgan goes 15 feet 7 inches there in that double tailwhip, and 89.66. And he starts off round 1, picking up where he left off in Los Angeles. The native Texan is your current leader at the end of round number 1. Colton Satterfield due up next. You saw a big run out of him in round 1. Let's see what he adds to the mix. And that's what I was wondering if he's going to do. Spin the bars in that, and he does!
To the triple tailwhip and pulls it clean. That was an amazing run. No-handed cork 7 to late bar spin. Straight down up the quarter pipe into a triple tailwhip.
And look at the emotion right now. You can't believe that he did that after these windy conditions. And listen to the round of applause he got and the roar from the crowd.
So it's like an off-axis 720. Hands coming off. Watch this. Late bar spin. Spins the bars around. Spots his landing. Lands just after the knuckle. Perfect. Look at this. Amazing. Catches his bars. You'll see right here. Adjusts his hands. Grabs the grips. 3 tail whips. Once, twice, 3 times around. Planting his feet. Putting together a fantastic run. Wow. I can't wait to see how where this puts him.
He was in 4th pre-run with that 84 flat, so he's just outside of the podium as of right now. And look at that reaction. You can see how pumped up he is after that. Keep in mind, the wind has been a factor out here all day, and we almost didn't have a competition. These guys decided at the last minute they were going to go for it. And 90.66, Colton Satterfield takes the lead. What do you think? Chad goes for that cliffhanger flip one more time.
Either that or he's going to play it safe and do something he knows he can do. I don't know. Chad loves to push the envelope no matter how he's feeling.
Going for a 3rd time.
There it is. Oh, he slips his pedal.
Still rides away. Oh my, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh! Slips his pedal, adjusts as quick as he can, and still goes for the flare whip. Hangs up just a little bit.
I thought he was gonna ride away from that. See him hobbling off the ramp again from that one, but trying to go for that trick 3 times in a row. Look at this.
Check this out right here. Grabs onto the bars with his feet.
The frame drifted again.
He missed. Look at his bars turn.
Oh, his right hand.
He missed his grip. Watch right here.
Yeah, this back tire hang. This could have been a lot worse.
I think just catching that edge. He got out of that really well.
Coming off the landing on the gap and then just implodes there on the double tailwind, and that'll do it for GoPro BMX Big Air out here tonight. With the fall, you know that's not going to be enough. You know what that means? Colton Satterfield gets his first ever gold medal. He got his first medal last year. He got a bronze in Barcelona. That's his first ever gold. Colton Satterfield, congratulations. his first ever X Games gold medal. Morgan Wade adds another one to his trophy case with the silver. And how about James Foster? He gets his first X Games medal as well. With
That's what I was just going to point out. James Foster, I know, is one happy cat.
This is only James's second X Games appearance. What a great competition last night, and congratulations once again to Colton Satterfield earning his first ever X Games gold medal. Over here, though, at BMX Park, round one. We're in run 1 of 2 right now. The high mark to beat is Chase Hawk with an 87.66. But this gentleman right here, we're going to see next. He got a gold medal yesterday in BMX Dirt.
Hold up, really put it together for the BMX Dirt competition. Check this out right here. I love this. The big long block front flip, leading with his head, carrying the distance over that jump.
Look at where he's looking as he's going through about half of that rotation at the last second. Just tucks the head into the crossbar.
Gets the landing perfect.
So his first gold medal was last year in Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil. He got one in Park in the beginning of the day, and then he doubled up and got his second one later on that night. And he's the first guy since you in 2006 to double up with 2 golds in the X Games. Look at that, you're on the graphics there in the stat category, buddy.
I'm doing all right.
And look at that, a flare dropping to start it off.
Yeah, the bar spin, the tabletop, and the longhorn.
So again, the runs are 50 seconds in length. You get 2 of them. It's the better of your 2 runs that count. Top 6 move on into the final.
With a 3-whip, the trifecta. That's doing a 360 and a tail whip in 1 pass.
Coming down to the final 20 seconds here. Carving that flare. Kind of bottomed out on that one. That was an opposite flare?
Yeah. He bottomed that flare, but went straight into the oppo flare. When you hear us say opposite, that means when the guys are traveling in their unnatural direction. It's like a baseball pitcher pitching with his wrong hand.
Winded it down here, and that is going to do it for yesterday's gold medalist in BMX Dirt. That was his 3rd medal that he added yesterday, by the way, and all 3 of his medals just happen to be gold. We take a look at some replays of this opening run for him.
Rolling right into the flare. Look at this. Popping around to start his runoff. Right here over the trifecta, 360 tail whip.
So where do you think this sorts him in the overall scheme of things? You need an 87.66 or better to overtake the top spot from Chase Hawk. He gets an 81.66, so that's not even good enough to get him into the top 6 right now. So that'll slide him into 7th. With 3 riders left to go here in run 1 of 2 here in round 1. This guy's no stranger to the podium. He earned himself a bronze medal at the last park event that we had out in Munich, Germany. This is Daniel Sandoval.
Daniel Sandoval out of California doing it for Total BMX.
Did you see that sort of flat spin rotation and the pop that he had coming off of that lip?
Yeah, massive tuck no-hander. Straight into double bar spin. With a front flip straight to flare.
He spun the bars in that flare too. Wow. He just lit it up there in that last 3-trick combo set. The double tail whip on that vert extension. What a great finish to that run. How about it? That was Daniel Sandoval.
Just amazing. You know, Jamie Beswick always used to talk about and explain to me, you got to have your chopping block at the end of your run where you're just banging the tricks out. And it worked right here.
I didn't realize he spun the bars on that flat spin.
Right here, huge tuck no-hander out of that deep end. Landed so smooth. Bar catch bar. Spinning, bar spin is when you spin those bars around and catch them. Check it out right here. Front flip over the trifecta. Land smooth. Straight into a bar spin flare.
So a big finish to that run there. He had good flow, Good use, of course. He definitely had some big tricks right there. The question is, what are the judges going to think of that run? You need an 82.33 or better to jump into the top 6. Sergio Leo sitting in that 6th spot right now. Why is that key? Because, again, top 6 are moving on into the final. And Daniel Sandoval cracks into the top 3. He'll slide into 3rd there with an 85.33. So nicely done by your returning bronze medalist from the Munich Park event last year. On course right now, another one of our returning former gold medalists. This guy's been focused on X Games this year, Scotty Kramer.
Scotty Kramer, you know, it's one of the only athletes out there wearing a full face helmet. I commend him for making that choice.
Scotty owns 3 gold medals in this event, 2006, 2009, and 2012.
With a big flare over the Longhorn.
Look at, oh! That's the biggest error we've seen in that deep end section in this entire competition thus far.
Now the thing with Scotty, you see he's pedaling a lot, which is gonna weigh against him with the judges.
See what he does with this last bit of time, a massive flare. So going back to that point, expand a little bit on why the pedaling through the course is going to count out from the judges' eyes.
As I said, I talked to the judges yesterday, and they were really crucial and on point about making all the guys use every line that they could find, maintaining their speed and not pedaling and not just relying on all the big banger tricks. Right here, we see a big banger trick with a big flare into the Longhorn. Landing nice and smooth. This is ridiculous. Huge invert up around the 9-10 foot mark.
Out of a 10-foot deep bowl right there. That was massive. So Scotty's going to slide into 5th right there with an 84.33. So Chase Hawk still hanging tough with that top spot here. Remember, this is run 1. They get 2 runs. It's the best run that counts. Top 6 move on. This is the last rider to go in the run order here. He's your defending gold medalist from the last park event last year, which was out in Munich, Germany, Daniel Dares.
Danny with a massive tail whip.
Big flare, but the key of that, did you see the distance that he traveled across the Texas feature on the course?
Finding his flows, keeping his speed up, big tail whip and big flare. Truck driver adds a 360 while spinning the bars.
Kind of alley-oop into the Longhorn section there.
Looks a little lost now, kind of lost some of his speed.
Well, I was going to say that he hasn't even gone into this 10-foot bowl section until the last 10 seconds of the run. And now here, the final seconds, definitely looking a little lost there. So talk about that. If you don't use all of the course, how's that going to play in this course? Because we saw him pretty much neglect that entire side of the course until the last third of the run.
Yeah, it definitely goes against you. The judges are looking for you to use the entire course. Also, you saw at the end of his run, he started fizzling out. He lost some of his speed. He was just kind of doing some simple throw tricks.
Saw a couple of repeats there, did a couple of flares in that run. At one point, it kind of looked like he was going from corner to corner there, almost trying to use that section, almost like a mini ramp. So the high mark to beat out here, 87.66. That's Chase Hawk. You need 84 flat or better to get into the top 6, but Daniel Dares will slide into 8th there with an 82.33. So at the end of run 1 of 2 here, the Austin native is sitting in the top spot here with an 87.66. We've got one more run to go here in BMX Park, round 1, when we come back.
Another gorgeous afternoon here in our new home at Circuit of the Americas at X Games Austin. Crowds have come out. It's been massive. Day one through here, the fourth and final day. A lot of fun being had. Remember, though, a lot of finals still to come today, including men and women's skateboard street, and, of course, our brand new discipline, Stadium Super Trucks. One of the best memories, though, here from X Games Austin, last night in the GoPro BMX Big Air, we weren't even sure if it was going to go off due to strong winds, but we finally ended up making it a go. And you know us here at the X Game family. We got our Insta and tweet game on lockdown. A lot of response on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook from our athletes, from the media, from the fans. Beautiful photos. And we did end up putting that contest down. And, of course, Colton Satterfield with the no-handed cork 720 over the gap to the triple tail whip off the quarter. Wins his first ever gold medal. Of course, Kanye West capping off the night with an insane concert here at Circuit of the Americas. Let's head back to the BMX park course with Jimmy Coleman and Kevin Robinson.
Returning champions, Kyle Baldock got the win in Foz do Iguaçu. Welcome back to BMX Park Round 1. Taking a look at our returning gold medalists from last year. Kyle Baldock got the win in Foz do Iguaçu. Gary Young in Barcelona. Daniel Dares in Munich. Those three guys all on the outside of our top 6 looking in here at the end of round number 1. Gary sitting in 7th place. You got Baldock sitting down there in 10th, and Daniel Dares sitting in 8th right now. Scotty Kramer, by the way, there was 9 different podium positions last year of the 3 park events we did, and Scotty Kramer was the only one to earn 2 of those podium finishes last year. But here's how we stand at the end of run 1 of 2. We cut the top 6 going on to the final, and it's the Austin native Chase Hawk sitting in that top spot with an 87.66, followed by Ryan Nyquist and Daniel Sandoval. But you see the bottom of the pack there, Gary Young, Sergio Leos, Kyle Baldock, Pat Casey, and Kevin Peraza. But it all comes down to this last run. It's the best run that counts as we bring back in Kevin Peraza.
As I say, Kevin Peraza coming from a whole family of BMXers. His dad, Victor, longtime BMXer. This is Kevin's first visit as an X Games competitor.
Slingshotting out of that 10-foot bowl section there. Kevin's down there at the bottom of the pack right now in 12th with 75.33, so looking to turn it on here in this last run.
Putting together a good solid run. You see him boost some speed out of that deep end. Little tabletop over the trifecta. One-footed tabletop. Right into the flare.
Just gets hung up there.
Extension.
It's got a little hung up back wheel.
And then with the downside tail whip.
It should be an improvement from that first run score, that 75.33. But from what we've seen in round 1, I mean, you need an 84 better to get in. Dennis Anderson sitting in that bubble spot right now in 6th place. I don't know if that'll be enough.
I'll have to say I was a little surprised by Sandoval's score. I thought he'd be sitting a little bit higher. He put together a good run using lots of the lines and the hard tricks. Right here, you see him flare.
Oh, he did actually clip.
A little bit high in clips.
So how much of improvement will it be? Anderson, again, your bubble guy, because the top 6. Oh, Kevin, I was wrong. I stand corrected. Wow. Kevin Peraza jumps all the way up into 4th place right there with an 84.33. So he's bumped Dennis Anderson down into 7th and puts Scotty Kramer on the bubble there. However, Dennis is up next, and he will have a chance to answer back right here now. We keep talking about style. We keep talking about flow here. This guy definitely has that element. He can flow through a park course. We've seen him do it time and time again. He actually owns 2 silver medals in this event in years past.
Dennis Anderson doing it out of San Diego, California, riding for Haro Bikes. One of my favorite riders, always has a big smile on his face, just loves being on his bicycle and has a great time. You'll see it right here with his run. Carving over that longhorn with this massive transfer. Huge transfer. Coming back out of the deep end.
Did you see how much speed he had as he came slingshotting out of that bowl end?
Yeah, the can off the quarter pipe. Haven't seen any of that today. The pocket air. With a massive flare.
Oh, it just lands low and gets bumped off.
You don't see Dennis doing flares all that often.
I was gonna say, I can't remember the last time I've actually seen him do a flare. He was going for it there in that final run.
The only one doing the transfer like this. Look at this. How much distance he just traveled. Pumps around that corner, gets his speed, and transfers back out. Right here's the flare, lands a little low. Kind of blows him off his bike. Once again, there's that smile.
So 84 flat was his first run score. So obviously with the fall, that's going to be the lower of his two. So he is not going to advance into the top 6. Coming up next, though, the local guy currently sitting in the top spot here, talking about Chase Hawk. Look at some of this video of Chase. That's out at the 9th Street Trails.
In my mind, that's what Chase Hawk still is.
He's skilled at trails, park, street. Guy's an all-around talented rider. Style and flow are two of his big keys, and obviously they're paying off for him here because he's your top guy as of right now. And listen to the roar of the crowd. We get set to bring in the native Texan here for his second run.
Whenever I think BMX in Austin, Texas, my first thought is Chase Hawk. Yeah, the massive transfer out of that deep end. Nice big invert on the Longhorn. Huge alley-oop transfer back into the deep end. You see him pumping around. He's got some good lines.
Kind of flowing through everything here as he works his way back into the bull corner. Nice transfer onto the hip there. Coming down to the final 10 seconds. Let's see what he wraps it up with. There's that bull mouth transfer again.
The foot jam nose pick at the end of the run. Now, you saw him use a lot of good lines. He kept his flow, maintained his speed, but didn't see a lot of tricks. So I don't know if it's going to play against him. We'll have to see what the judges think.
Again, his first run score was an 87.66. We've got Pat Casey on deck as we take a look at some highlights here. Chase's second run.
The alley-oop invert into the deep end.
What do you think? 84.66. That'll be 3 points lower than his first run score, but hey, he's the top guy to beat right now as we take the top 6 into that final round. So 3 down, 9 left to go here in run 2 of 2 out here, BMX Park, round number 1. Pat Casey currently on the outside looking at sitting in that 12th position.
Yeah, the big 1-foot invert transfer into the deep end. As I said earlier, Pat was pretty banged up. I talked to him this morning. He's really sore. But he's like, you know, when it's time to go out there and work, I'll do it. So bar spin into Longhorn. Going for the 360 tail whip.
See him holding the right knee there when he comes back from that one.
He's got bandages all over his body.
Yeah, he took a heck of a knock yesterday in the last run of the BMX Dirt Final. He went into the lip of the landing in the last set, pretty much face first. So he's a little roughed up out here and having some problems in this last run. So this will be a throwaway score for him as well.
So try to end it with that pocket air tail whip. Landed low.
So looking like he's going to stick with that first run score of an 80.66. You hear wincing in pain there. Reaches over, grab that right leg. So yeah, the 77.33. We'll go ahead and throw that score away. We've got more BMX Park round 1 still to come, but in the meantime, let's switch gears a little bit here. Take a look, a sneak preview, if you will, at a brand new event to X Games as we find out what is Stadium Super Trucks.
Stadium Super Truck is probably the best kept secret in racing because nobody knows about it.
Stadium Super Trucks like Supercross, Baja, pretty much any form of racing put into one.
It's a new series. It's a series that once existed like Mickey Thompson Off-Road. It's been gone for about 25 years, and now it's back.
It's exactly what you do with your Traxxas RC car. We run on asphalt, cement, dirt, curves. It doesn't make a difference what it is. If it's out on the racetrack and it's in our way, we run it over, we jump it, we go around it, we spin around it. It's definitely one of the most exciting forms of racing that there is today.
It's pretty gnarly driving these trucks, 650 horsepower and a little 2,500 pound truck.
Super truck racing is probably like the gnarliest trucks you'll ever see. They're always on two wheels. Outside it looks like they're gonna flip, but that's just how the cars work. It shows the fans something like they've never seen before.
We've got these 36-inch tall, 19-foot long ramps, and we're getting 10, 12, 14 feet of altitude for a good 150 to 200 feet of distance.
When you come up on them at 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, we're going to be above the catch fence. I mean, there's 14, 15 feet there, and the wheels are going to drop out, and we're still going to be above them.
Just being a young gun out here, it's super cool.
Usually I just can't believe how young I am. There's three of us 16-year-olds.
We've got a pretty diverse field of young, brave talent and older, experienced guys.
So this is like an old guy, young guy shootout here, and I'm literally stuck in the middle. I got 12 to 15 years on the kids, and Robbie got 12 to 15 years on me.
To be an X Games gold medalist at like 16, that would be so cool.
It's going to be a dream come true when they hang that X Games gold medal around my neck.
The opportunity to be able to bring our series to X Games is awesome. We've only been in business for a year now. The fans and the competitors of X Games are all going to be wowed by the Stadium Super Trucks.
Gold medalists in this event. Welcome back here to BMX Park. Round one, we're in the second and final run here. Top six move on into the final, and there's a shot of not only a native Texan, but your current leader. That's Chase Hawk right there from round one with an 87.66. So we'll see more here. We'll see the conclusion of run number two when we come back. But coming up next, we'll check in once again with Stadium Super Trucks. Happened in my head. Welcome back to Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas. We're in the BMX Park Final. It's down to the third and final runs here. The story thus far, Chase Hawk was on the top spot all through round one, and he's retained that spot here after 2 runs in the final. No one's been able to beat him. He had an 89 the first go around. He had an 89.66 in run number 2. He's bumped it up a notch. It all comes down to this last run. It's the best run that counts. The best possible run score you can get is 100, and there is a shot of the local boy and your current leader, 89.66. He's knocking on the door of the 90s. Style, flow, and speed have been the key factors out here in this competition, but it all comes down to this last run for Drew Bezanson.
With a big turn-down transfer out of the deep end, really maintaining a ton of speed with that massive transfer. Lands so smooth.
Get into that
flare out.
Try and get flare into that manual. We saw him pull it in a previous run. Not able to do it there, but keeps on going here. He's down at 6th pre-run with that 83.66 from run 2 being his best score today.
Yeah, the big tailwind in the deep end, pumping around, creating some more speed. Yeah, a little lawnmower stall.
Is he gonna go for that Fufanu?
There it is, pulling that Fufanu. Straight into the flare, pulling it clean. What a great run.
Again, when he goes into that, as we see it on the replay, the amount of distance that he has to travel from the lip to that rail is very narrow. And again, if you don't lock onto that thing with that tire, you're going down because there's a huge gap back there and quite a fall.
Right there, you see him preloads when he lands that he has the strength to be able to pull back into the ramp.
Again, 83.66. Oh, he's up to 88. He jumps all the way up to 2nd. Drew Bezanson moves up 5 spots with that run. So it's starting to shake up quite a bit here in this final round, Kevin.
Absolutely it is. The judges are looking for unique things like that, using that rail for a Fufanu, thinking outside the box.
Chase Hawk still in that top spot. Now what that's done, it's bumped Daniel Sandoval out of medal contention. He's sitting in 4th. Daniel Dares now slides down to 3rd here. Daniel Dares, a 5-time gold medalist in Park, the history of the X Games, and actually he won the last event we had in Munich, Germany last year. He's looking at a bronze right now. He'd love to bump up.
Yeah, the big flare into the extension, pump it down into deep end, flowing out the transfer.
This might be the fastest we've seen Daniel on course throughout this entire competition.
I was just going to say that.
Because he was kind of slow, a little flat there at the end of round 1, but he made it into the final, and then he looked like he picked it up a bit.
He lost his line.
And as I say that, yeah, he just throws that one away. He's still got just under 20 seconds left, but from what we've seen out of the rest of the pack, this isn't going to be an improvement. It looks like he's got something he wants to do.
Go with a big flare transfer to the deep end. Haven't seen that yet.
There's your current leader there, Chase Hawk. More runs still to come. Let us know if you want flat track racing to become an official event at X Games Austin 2015. # X Games Flat Track.
X Games Austin is brought to you by Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas, and Circuit of the Americas here in the final runs of the BMX Park Final. Chase Hawk still in the top spot right now. He's still got a final run yet to go. There's only 3 riders left to go here in this final. And right now, let's take a look as Ford presents today's best.
Chase Hawk really utilizing all the lines in this course. Massive alley-oop tabletop right there. I've been waiting for somebody to do that line all day. Chase being the first one to step it up and do it. Sitting in first place, the Austin native, Chase Hawk.
Yeah, there's your current leader right there. Scores of 89 and 89.66. Not only would it be he's looking for his first gold medal, he's looking for his first X Games medal overall. How great would that be in your hometown if you end up getting your first one and it's a gold?
That is a storybook ending for sure.
So it's Hawk, Bezanson, and Dare sitting in the top 3 spots as of right now. So if you want to see the completion of the BMX Park Final, you can join us over on ABC coming up at 2 Eastern. The 2014 X Games from Austin continues next on ABC after tonight's action. Join us for X Games Extra presented by OneDrive, and for continued coverage of all things X, logging on to xgames.com.